Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the Yakwath, which are the sincere sisters. And Shalom to all the scattered Israelites of the hopeful elect, who are amongst these other nations and look like these other nations. Now this lesson is going to be just based on the fact that we are in the last days, and that is why there is so many dangerous things taking place. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read these precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And I have the definition of perilous here. And it says perilous is an adjective meaning extremely dangerous, hazardous, or full of risk. It describes situations, journeys, or actions that involve high risk of harm, injury, or destruction. And basically, that's where we are in the world, especially due to this war that's happening between Iran and against the U.S. and Israel. You know, just off of that war alone, so much chaos has happened. So many people have died. So much destruction has happened. You know, oil and gas prices have skyrocketed, which is causing a lot of economic problems on a global scale. Because Iran closed off the Strait of Hormuz. So there's a lot of oil that usually passes through there, you know, being transported to other countries. But since Iran closed it, you know, that seamless trading, you know, has basically shut down. And, you know, the scriptures tell us that, you know, these times would come. You know, so there's a oil and gas problem. You know, there's going to be is an energy problem. You know, there's going to be the price of groceries is going to increase. You know, the cost of living is just going to continue to go up. And at the same time, people are not getting paid a livable wage. And a lot of these businesses are shutting down and having to lay off everybody. So at the same time that the price of everything is going up, people are losing their jobs. So now they really can't afford to do anything. And for these carnal people, these carnally minded people who have no faith in the Lord, and they don't believe that in these perilous times the Lord will provide for them, these type of people, they're going to resort to, you know, running up in these stores and robbing these stores. You know, there's going to be a lot of fights breaking out in these grocery stores. There's going to be a lot of fights breaking out at the gas pumps. You know, because everybody's going to want to get what they need. But it's going to be in such short supply that it's going to basically be first come, first serve. Whoever is there first gets it. And people are going to be beating each other up and killing each other over this stuff. Things are about to get very, very bad out here. And the men of the Lord, starting, of course, with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, have been calling it and saying that we were going to get to this point. And through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, those of us of the hopeful elect, we have been blessed with the ability to foresee these evils. We know that the dominoes are starting to fall. And it's just one situation is going to lead to another and another and another until full-blown civil wars and race wars break out in this country. Complete civil unrest. Famines, power outages. Things are about to get very hostile out here. And this is the Lord's vengeance upon these wicked people with whom he is angry with. Luke 21 and 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And that's right. The Lord is going to use all of these judgments, all of these great miseries to punish these wicked people with whom he is angry with. And like it says in Psalms 7 and 11, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. So every day the Lord is angry with these wicked men, women, and children out here. And in these last days, the Lord is going to pour out his wrath upon them via a multitude of different judgments. Second Ezra 8 and 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And we're already in the midst of that. We're already in the midst of many great miseries being done to these people. And I have the definition here, or the definition here of this phrase. It says the phrase many great miseries is a direct reference to a passage in the biblical apocrypha book, 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. It says, according to various translations, the verse warns that judgment in the last days, many great miseries will afflict those living in the world during the latter times. It said these miseries are attributed to people walking in great pride. It says while the world faces these miseries, the text encourages the reader especially to focus on the glory prepared for the righteous, such as the opening of paradise and the planting of the tree of life, which basically, that's the kingdom of heaven. So while all of these wicked people with whom the Lord is angry with are suffering through these many great miseries, the righteous, the members of the elect, which none of us of the hopeful elect know that we are of the elect. We just have to move, with the intention or with the hope that we are of the elect. So we are supposed to, just focus on rehearsing the righteous acts daily, following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, reading, watching, staying prayed up, staying circumspect, just trying to stay away from wickedness as much as we can, in hopes that the Lord has chosen us from the foundation of the world to endure unto the end and be saved. Because there is nobody outside of the Lord that can deliver us in these times. There is no, police officers, no military that can save you out of the hands of the Lord for those who are going to get caught up in these many great miseries. There's about to be a lot of suffering. There's about to be a lot more death and destruction and chaos and misery that's about to sweep America and the world in general. And majority of people out here are in no way, shape, or form ready for that because they refuse to take heed to the warnings from the men of the Lord. The only ones who are taking heed are, of course, those of the hopeful elect, whom the Lord put the Spirit on to take heed to the warnings, to take this seriously, to stray from wickedness as much as possible and lock in with these scriptures in hopes that we get delivered. But there's a lot of people out here who are wicked in the eyes of the Lord, and the Lord is angry with them. And that's why, if you've been paying attention, you've noticed that things just keep getting worse. And a lot more people are suffering and being affected by it. Meanwhile, those of us of the hopeful elect, we're experiencing, certain things as well. But we have faith that the Lord is always going to provide for us and take care of us, so long as we hold up our end of the bargain and we stay faithful to Him and we continue to fear Him and pray to Him and trust in Him. First Peter 3:12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and His ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. And that's right. The Lord, He hears the prayers of the righteous. So when the members of the hopeful elect send up prayers and they ask for the Lord to keep His Spirit on them, to keep a enduring and stable and comforted and patient and diligent and fervent spirit upon them, He hears that. When the righteous pray for the Lord to keep His hedge of protection over them and their loved ones, the Lord hears that. It says, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. And that's a majority of these people out here. Majority of these people are out here doing evil and doing wickedness. And the Lord is against them. And He's going to bring nothing but judgments upon them and miseries upon them. Isaiah 48:22. There is no peace, saith the Lord Yahweh, unto the wicked. And that's right. Because like I quoted in Psalm 7:11, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. Every day these wicked people are provoking the Lord unto wrath with their continual wickedness, their continual wicked behavior, the way they talk, the way they think, the things they do. It's all wicked. It's all evil. And it angers the Lord. And so the Lord is just continuously pouring out His wrath upon the earth and punishing these people. That's why, people get into helicopter crashes and plane crashes and car crashes, and people get wounded and killed in fires and in storms and tempests like tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes and shootings and stabbings and animal attacks. And that's why people drown and get electrocuted to death and fall from, high places and, die, because that's the Lord's anger. That's his wrath being poured out upon these wicked people because they provoke him unto wrath. The men of the Lord are constantly warning these people and letting them know that, hey, all that wickedness that you're doing, it's angering the Lord and he's going to punish you for it. And instead of taking those warnings seriously, these people will scoff and scorn at the men of the Lord. They'll disrespect the men of the Lord. They'll tell the men of the Lord that they're crazy, that they're bums, that they need to get a job, that they're a joke. Just a laundry list of very disrespectful things these people will say. And so the Lord is like, okay, you're not going to heed the warnings from my men. You're going to disrespect them. Well, now you're going to suffer. So when the Lord really does open the floodgates of judgment and, people are starving to death due to the famine, when complete civil unrest happens and people are out here, just gangs of people are out here beating each other up and stomping each other out and murdering each other in the streets just day and night. When this country just descends into pure chaos and there's just death and destruction just happening on a scale that this country has never experienced before, that's the judgment of the Lord right there. All the people that are about to get caught up in that, all the wicked men, women, and children who are about to get caught up in that and die, that's their judgment from the Lord. That is those wicked people reaping what they've sown for provoking the Lord unto wrath. And we're getting close to that point. You can see it. You can see the division building in this country. You can feel the hostility amongst the people building. You can see the love of many waxing cold. You know that all hell is going to break loose soon. Many brothers have said that America is one big powder keg just waiting to be set off. And that's the truth. All the Lord has to do is light this thing, and all hell is going to break loose. And we are approaching those times. So for all you sincere brothers and sisters, just make sure that you stay locked in, because we need that protection from the Lord. Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And that's what us of the Hopeful Elect have been doing and will continue to do, is watch. Watch the news. Watch your surroundings. Be circumspect. And always pray. Pray without ceasing. Pray in the morning. Pray in the afternoon. Pray at night. Pray before you leave the house to go to work or to the grocery store or to just go for a walk. Just always pray. Pray that the Lord keeps that hedge of protection over you, and pray that no matter what happens, the Lord makes a way for you to get through it. Put all of your faith and trust in the Lord, because He's the only one who can deliver you, seeing as these are His judgments that are happening on the world, on the earth, and that are about to consume this place. Pray that the Lord keeps a righteous spirit on you so that you continue to do the righteous acts that according to the scriptures are pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. Because the goal is that the Lord accounts you worthy to escape these things and to endure unto the end and ultimately be saved. That's the goal for those of us of the Hopeful Elect. That's what we should want. That should be what we're striving for. So that's what we should be focused on. Because these wicked people out here, they're going to do what they're going to do. And they're going to catch their judgment in due time. But those of us of the hopeful elect, we don't want any parts of that. So we have to do the opposite of what these wicked people are doing. They're focused on being wicked. We have to focus on being righteous. Because best believe, chaos is coming. All hell is about to break loose. Those few dominoes that are left are about to fall. And when they finally do, and all hell does break loose, all of these wicked people who've been playing around, they're going to get caught up in that chaos, in that destruction, in all of that misery and great suffering that's about to happen. And that's their punishment. That's what they deserve. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the sincere sisters, and shalom to the scattered Israelites, in particular the ones of the hopeful elect who are amongst these other nations and look like these other nations. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah. Until next time, Shalom.